Oh, hi. So you know how I meant to be like some video game collector or something? Well, the fourth generation of gaming has eluded me for nearly 2 years now. I used to own a Mega Drive, which back then I called the Genesis because I thought I was so cool. I wasn't. But now, these days, I don't because I kind of accidentally let my Genesis get blown up by the Virtual Boy. Not my greatest move. So, I've never actually played on a proper SNES or a SNES Mini. I just played on the Switch because I'm basic like that. So, if I don't own anything of the fourth generation of gaming, I could at least pretend like I know what I'm on about. I hope. Yeah, that could work. Okay, let's talk about the fourth generation of gaming for way too long. Firstly, though, when people say the fourth generation of gaming, that normally means two consoles in particular, the SNES and the Mega Drive. None of that Neo Geo shit or whatever. And if you say that's what you do think about the fourth generation of gaming, then get the fuck out of my house. But Nintendo and Sega were leading the way through, like, most of this generation, in fact, all of it, to be fair. They made life worth living when there was nothing else to do in the 90s. What was I meant to do? Read a book? And Sega was around before then, but, like, was it really? I mean, the Master System was kind of just there, and no one was picking the Master System over the NES. Like, oh, Mum, I don't want Duck Hunt. I want Alex Kidd! But the 90s were different, damn it. Move over, Mario. Raystar's in the house now. But the only reason Sega even had a chance of winning this one was because of the one. The only Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic was just so cool. And next door was Nintendo playing on their uncool SNES, playing Mario World. And of course, Mario World is good. It's brilliant compared to Sega. But, like, Nintendo was struggling to keep its lead. They did end up winning this gen. How, I hear you ask? Well, Sega fucked up. Sega had a brilliant console, and then all of a sudden they just decided to add add-ons, like awful expensive add-ons. The Sega CD was, like, shit. There was only one good game on there, and it was Sonic CD. And the 32X had games. And each add-on had its own power cable, and I don't have enough power for this. Luckily, I don't own any of these, but Sega just kept trying. Like, bro, give up. The console was good enough as it was. SNES? Not so much. They had the Super Game Boy. Simple. You know, you could play Game Boy games on the TV. That's quite cool. The games on the SNES were good. Mario World, Mario Kart, Mario World 2. I don't mean just Mario games, but there were other great games on there, like Earthbound, Donkey Kong Country, Mario Paint, A Link to a Past. Yeah. Brilliant games. Oh, Mario and Wario. And then the Genesis had Sonic, Comic Zone. Hell, when I had a Mega Drive, all I would use it for was just the Sonic games. So I'd call it the Sonic Machine plus Raystar. I'm joking, of course, but the SNES just had more classic games. Like, yeah, it's just Sonic. You can play that anywhere. Mario World, you play it on the Switch, but who the fuck does that? Although I never did own a SNES, so I guess I'm the one that does that. But I can say, without touching a SNES, that the better one, in my opinion, for me, is Nintendo. Therefore, Nintendo wins, because I'm correct. I'm always right. So that was the fourth generation of gaming, and it didn't go the way I thought it would. Nintendo won. I didn't see that coming, but don't feel bad for Sega. They'll get used to losing. They do it every other time. The Saturn. Imagine launching the Saturn. And we won't say anything bad about the Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast. But that is the fourth generation of gaming. It was just two consoles. Yeah, you had your Game Boys and all of the others. But it was just loads to, like, no one cared about the others. Why would you care about the others? Let's be real. So I just have one last thing to say about this generation of gaming, and then I can talk about the third. There's only one console now. Anyway, the last thing I want to say. Even after all of that, if you still think that the Neo Geo is the main console of the 4th generation of gaming, get the fuck off my property.